Live from Charleston, South Carolina, it's Hit or Miss with Night Strike. Take it away.
Home of yellow barbecue sauce.
Yes, it is the home of yellow barbecue sauce, and it's actually pretty good, but, it's an acquired taste. Anyways, welcome all to
mustard everywhere else.
They use mustard in it.
The sauce doesn't run.
Welcome to Hit or Miss. I've got a variety of characters tonight with me, as my panelists. I'm going to introduce them one by one. So, Brandon, how's it going?
Good. Streaming live from Scottsdale, Arizona. Thanks for having me.
All right. Foos, what's going on?
From Harrison, America.
Where is that again?
Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, okay. You're from Arkansas. Gotcha.
Well, I'm not from. I live.
You live. Okay.
There's a big difference. I have all my teeth.
Perfect. And Sean, what's going on?
How you doing? Live from my reloading bench out in Houston, Texas.
Ooh, Texas. We're going to talk about that. And then I think behind enemy lines we've got, or way behind enemy lines, I say, we've got Hawaii Volcano Squad. What's going on?
Hey, broadcasting from the biggest rock in the Pacific Ocean.
Australia?
That's not a rock, that's a continent.
That's a penis colony.
It's a rock.
That's a penal colony.
It's a penal colony. We're broadcasting from the biggest island in Hawaii. So.
The biggest free island in the Pacific.
the biggest rock.
Isn't it like Guam or something?
Something that rhymes with it.
All right, great. So tonight we're just gonna kind of freestyle it. I actually don't have a topic. We were talking about a whole ton of shit, earlier in the chat. I guess we're just gonna rehash it. So I'm going to tell you right now, guys. We may do the whole conspiracy theory type thing. So if you don't have a tinfoil hat, go and get some, aluminum foil. Go and make yourself a tinfoil hat. If you're Jewish, go and make yourself a tinfoil yarmulke. So, we cover all the bases.
Wait, what if I'm Islam? What do I...
And stick your head in the microwave.
If you're Muslim, I'm going to say, go make yourself one of those aluminum foil face masks, okay? Okay, and then we're good. Where do we leave off, Sean?
Well, let's talk about the big news of the day, I guess. The Dallas police officer's funeral or service was today, and it was supposed to schedule the speeches of two presidents, a former one and a current one, but instead it was an inspirational speech by a former president that we all probably miss, and a complete asshole.
Oh, God, what happened?
So essentially what happened is George W. Bush, now a Dallas resident, took the stage, and the thing with him is anytime he speaks about soldiers, police officers, anyone who's in public service of their fellow man, you can always tell he is a genuine guy when it comes to these kinds of things. He always says something that seems like it came straight from the heart.
And he didn't mangle any words. That was the amazing
And he didn't
part.
read off any cards either. You could tell that that was heavy on his mind. I mean, what he was thinking was what came out of his mouth, which is strange because he couldn't do that when he was in office. But anyway.
Well, if people criticize George Bush, because there weren't any weapons of mass destruction, which probably is true. So,
no, there were totally weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, shut up. So basically, the point thing you have to remember is whether there were or were not weapons of
we found them. We just used them on
destruction. That when you're the president of the United States, you have to command. Like from what's that John Wayne movie, Fort Apache? When you're in command. And he was the president, and he made the call. So,
Well, you knew that the speech that he was going to give was good because he started it off with, he went straight to the heartstrings. He basically said, residents
of Dallas. Nice to hear a president that actually knew what it meant and what to say when you're the fucking president.
Right. I mean, he literally said, residents and people of Dallas, my fellow people here that I live with, today we mourn the loss of 5 of our residents. And then, he talks about family and just, losing people for senseless reasons. I mean, it was deep. It was emotional. You could tell that the families of those officers were touched by it. It felt like he was speaking to each individual one directly. And then the asshole goes up there.
And then he says, all the black people stand on the left side of the room, all the white people stand on the right side of the room, and everybody
He talks
that's
about
cool
how
stand
they
on
have
and
to
vote for Hillary.
We have to look into the hatred within our hearts, and also those in law enforcement. Every cop that was sitting behind him when he said that literally looked like they wished they were carrying that day. I mean, there's a picture of this one guy with the just most heinous look on his face, like he just wanted to plug one right into his brainstem and walk off the stage. And then he politicizes everything. He wants to blame guns. He's trying to lie to the American people, saying that guns are easier to go and get for a kid than a computer or a book. A Glock,
a bag of
specifically.
Skittles. A bag of Skittles is easier.
Apparently, there's Glock libraries. I didn't know this, because somebody else is paying for it, and it's easier for you to get. I don't remember having to do a background check to go to my public library, but apparently he thinks it's easier to get a Glock than it is to get a book.
I just met somebody that actually works at the public library, and so now I better be nice to him.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise they may unload on you.
Yeah, so according to President Obama, Glocks are easier to get than books and computers. And, he wanted to politicize this. The moment that 5 mourning families of lost fathers, brothers, husbands, and whatnot are sitting there waiting for words of inspiration by the leader of the free world, of one of the greatest nations on the planet, and he basically spits in their face by saying that they need to look into the hatred in their hearts and address that. What a cocksucker.
Well, you have to realize the
That is
free world is
fucking
anything but with Democrats in charge, okay?
He's literally just plugging for a third term. That's all it is. He's politicizing an event. Never let a tragedy go to waste. That's what he did.
You got a phone call, Foos.
I know.
So that's what we were talking about before the show.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a really... This man has no tact. He has no sense of empathy. He's just a villain. He is just a shaved villain.
I would say he is the worst president of the 21st century.
A lot of people are saying that. He's the worst president of the modern era.
Although I know Carter was bad, but I think he has finally overtaken Carter.
I don't think Carter was. Carter didn't
the gas
have
lines
hate.
are just the gas lines were just unforgivable for Carter. I mean,
Carter didn't hate
country.
a race. He didn't hate a specific group. This president hates people. He hates
everybody
certain
had to, no matter of race, had to get up at 5 in the morning and take a number to stand in line if it was your day to get gas. Nobody's going to forget that was around then.
Same thing happened in the 40s with gas rationing.
Maybe young whippersnappers don't remember that, but it was
I wasn't alive for
terrible.
The same thing happened with gas rationing in the 40s. I had a 41 Buick, and it had a gas rationing sticker, and it can only buy gas 2 days a week.
Did you
only
have
so
to?
many gallons.
Did you have to get up in the morning and take a number to see if it was your day, and then so if you could wait in a 2-hour line at 5 in the morning to get gas?
Nope. Only during Hurricane Ike did I ever have a problem getting gas, and that's because the entire city had no power for almost a month.
Though Hawaii, I'll tell you this: you could have more guns then, and you wouldn't be limited like you are now.
And you can have actual full automatic ARs.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember back then you could get Mac 10s.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, so we're gonna.
And no one killed themselves in line waiting for gas.
Yeah, and the Democrats weren't always
That's because
weren't
they
always
all
on
wanted to kill. Everybody wanted to kill the president. That's why.
the Democrats weren't always on a mass murder spree like all of them are these days. Even the ones that are doing it for ISIS and Islam, they're registered Democrats too. So, what the fuck with that? But it was a better time then, even with the whole rationing. That granted rationing sucks, but
no, you
that's
know
how it
what?
was.
You know what? In my local Facebook group of politics talk and everything, we have come to agree that the 70s were definitely a better time. You didn't have as much, public racial
Only
tension.
if you like.
Well, no. If you had tensions, you talked about it, you discussed it. You didn't go and start killing people.
What would happen with Black Lives Matter, right, if they were at a protest and all of a sudden Al Green and Al Wilson were blaring on the radio, talking about spreading love and being
It
peaceful?
was the Doobie
That was a
Brothers in
better
the 70s,
time.
dude.
That was a much better time.
Oh, instead of Al Sharpton saying that NRA.
We got the wrong
racist or
Al.
something.
The
Back then we
NRA
had Al
black
Wilson and Al
people or
Green. Today
something?
we have Al
Right.
Sharpton.
What?
I don't even want to get into that whole Al Sharpton thing because that's just a whole.
He's a fucking terrorist.
He is.
He's a leader of terrorism.
Mouth is a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes,
There you go.
his mouth is a weapon of mass destruction, and
That's
we need to
fine.
send
I just
American
said
troops
that.
to take him out.
Well,
Do I hear an echo?
We need to send a weapon of our mass destruction on him.
Well, send Yankee.
No, I think what Foose means is we need to audit him.
Yankee versus
Yankee
versus Al Sharpton on MSNBC.
Hasn't he been audited and owes millions of dollars?
Yeah.
Like 25 million or something.
Yeah. Why the hell is he not in jail? Hell, he's been in the freaking White House. Arrest him there. Like you don't have people with handcuffs.
Yeah, and pick
Oh.
up Hillary while you're at it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into what we were talking about after that. As I said, get your tinfoil hats, your tinfoil yarmulkes. Hell, if you have a tinfoil Napoleon hat, throw that on there just for good measure. But and remember, if you're Muslim, throw on the tinfoil mask, just so we're clear. But
Mask.
yeah, the whole face mask things they put on when they go and cut people's heads off.
Shema.
Yeah.
Give him a tinfoil shema.
Yeah.
Get the
I
tinfoil
bet
shema.
soldiers
That
wear
thing
shemas too.
Throw it
but-
on there. Okay, but we were talking about the whole fact that not only was Comey under fire, but now Loretta Lynch has been grilled as well now, and she's been grilled pretty hard by the Senate
Grilled.
because of the whole email thing.
Was
Because-
because she did a pretty good job of ducking questions all day.
She was ducking. She was doing the whole political ducking thing because apparently it sounds like she's ready to run for office or something too. So, but
All she did was say, just go to what the FBI.
It's
has
not
already
that she's
sent you.
running for office. She's running for a reappointment, which Hillary Clinton already said
It's
that if she was
Duck's
president, she would
dynasty.
reappoint Loretta Lynch to keep her as the Attorney General.
regardless, the fact that she had that meeting with Bill Clinton, they went and jumped over that like wildfire. And they grilled her for a bit, saying the fact that she was appointed by Clinton, may have led her to go to a different decision than she would if it was somebody else. They went there. And she tiptoed around it like, any politician would. But the fact that they're going after her now, instead of just, Comey, they're going after everyone involved because apparently they're going to get whoever they can so that they can get them to make a plea agreement so they can go after Clinton. That's what they're doing right now. You can tell. But
That's
I
a
would.
weaker theory
Yeah,
than mine.
because even
I'm not
though,
done yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not done yet with the theory. But
Oh.
if you guys want to jump in and comment, please do so.
Oh, can't the Congress say, okay, we're going? I know the investigation has basically ended.
No, it's
no,
not.
Oh yeah, well they started back up, but can't they go and say, okay, we're going to bring her to trial with the evidence we have?
Yes, but then they have to find a prosecutor to actually take the case. In this case, they can't get the Attorney General to do it, so they have to find someone else to do it.
And I think only the executive branch can appoint a special prosecutor, but
And I guess my theory is that the reason that Comey's press conference went the way it did was because he disclosed for 20 minutes every single damnable, convictable felony that he found in his investigation. He didn't have to do that. He did not have to detail it word for word. That wasn't a requirement of his press conference, but he did it. And then he followed it up with, but we can't find intent or
We
whatever. It was just a loose to own it. But the way that a lot of people are looking at that is he did this on purpose because he knew that if he indicted, Loretta Lynch wouldn't do anything with the case. Or
I
even
think
if
if
she
Hillary
did,
Clinton said, "I want to shoot white people," they still wouldn't indict her because
well, the thing is
they could prove
even
intent.
even if Loretta Lynch took the case, even if she went through the indictment, even if she was prosecuted, she's gonna get a presidential pardon from Obama. So
Gonna
what a
get a
lot of people are
presidential
thinking
medal
is
from Obama.
right. And what a lot of people are thinking is the reason that he laid out all this was for the next person to do it. And the next person in January, if Trump wins, could be appointed attorney general. It could be someone like a Chris Christie, or it could be someone like a Marco Rubio, or it could be someone like a Ted Cruz, a brilliant legal mind who would have the motivation to take this case in January because there was no statute of
What I want to know is, why don't
limitations.
they make race baiting a criminal offense?
Wait, but the thing is if they do it in January with, a for sure case like this, she does not have the protections of a presidential pardon anymore. So that's the theory. It's loose, but it's sensible. It makes sense.
Yeah, but we also run the situation that if we wait that long to do anything, she's gonna get elected president, and then
Well,
we're all
that's-
fucked.
the-
She's
the
just gonna
thing
pardon
is
herself.
you
Well,
got to
look, that-
remember, all
it-
this bad publicity is going against her at the polls. She's losing ground like you wouldn't
She's
believe
winning.
right now.
She's winning though, but she's still ahead of Trump. The point is that, like it or not, for better or for worse, this decision will be made by the American people on November 4th.
Yes.
And the American people may be not up to the task, but it will be the American people that make the decision. So I guess we just all have to be okay with that and hope they're just not all
And I'm gonna jump in here.
bamboozled.
I'm gonna jump in here and say something. If you vote, if you listen to this before, the voting happens in November. If you're listening before, it's time to elect your president. Please vote for a president that is not going to take away your constitutional rights. Because if you vote for Clinton, she does not care about your constitutional rights, your right to breathe even. So that's going to be gone if you elect her president. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't like
more
Johnson
breathing.
either, but remember, if you vote for Johnson instead of, for the Republican candidate, whether it's Trump or somebody else, who knows? But if you vote for Johnson, you're just giving Clinton another fucking vote.
Well, Johnson
yes
did
and no.
promise to stop smoking weed if he was elected.
If you are in a purple state, vote Trump. If you are in a blue or absolutely red state, vote third party if you want.
What?
Yeah.
Why? I don't get that.
No, I would say vote Republican this time and then vote third party next time.
The thing is, okay, I'm in Arkansas. If we're
You're a red
way
state, right?
red, oh hell yes, even with Clinton, even with that name, we're a major red state. Me voting, or taking a third of the people that would vote Republican, taking them to a third party, we're still going to be red, and all of the electoral vote goes to how the populace is.
I might have said this before in another chat, but don't get comfortable with that mentality, because I'm going to call this the Texas example, okay? A lot of people say that here in Texas. Oh, it doesn't matter who I vote for because it's still going to go to the Republican candidate because we're a red state, right? I hear that endlessly, and it sounds like vomit to me these days. Because if you look at the 4 biggest populated cities in Texas, Houston, Austin, Dallas, and I think El Paso. It might be El Paso. They're all democratically controlled by. They have Democratic mayors, Democratic city councils. The state is bleeding blue. It's hemorrhaging purple. So you can't say that anymore these days. The political map is changing radically. This election, when you look at the Electoral College map during the election night, it's not going to look like it's looked in the last 3 or 4 elections. There will be changes. I'm not saying that some of these will not be obvious, but there will be some surprise swing states, or there will be some states that were solid one color that isn't so solid anymore.
Did you check out my chat last night? Hell on Texas.
We went
Damn
over
it.
it last night.
I couldn't get on last night, man. I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I
well,
mean, yeah, I'm just saying, you can't say that no matter who you vote, your state is going to be this
Okay.
color anymore, because it's
Well,
you
hold-
got to check your populations now and your mayors and your major voting centers and industrial areas, because
Well,
you're
I
going to be
put
surprised.
this in red,
And also,
so
can I
just
jump in real
thinking
quick?
positively.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
So, like, and here's what I don't understand too. Like, a lot of people are like, a lot of people I know, and like, including my roommate, like, and this is what I don't understand. Like, yeah, I love guns, I love the Constitution, but I'm not gonna vote for Trump. Now, okay, I get that you may not like some of the things he says. I get that that people may not like, oh, like whatever, but I just don't get like why the hate for him. You know what I mean? Like,
You
this
sound like
guy-
my dad. He's like, I'm
this
not going to
guy-
vote for him because he's an asshole, and I'm like, that's all you're saying? That's how you base your opinion on?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not gonna vote for him because he's an asshole. I think there are better choices, and in my state, I'm not sure if I'm gonna vote for third party or Trump yet, but I would be safe to say that if I vote third party, I'm not voting for Clinton.
I can give somebody on the fence a solid reason, if you're against Trump, why you should
They're
at
on the
least
fence. Just push them over so they land
No,
on the
no,
red.
no, no, no. I'll give you a solid reason. I'll give you a solid reason why you should hold your nose and still vote for the party, regardless of if you believe in it or not. Think, I'm a cliche here. Think of the children. Think of your grandchildren.
How much
Because if
money do
Hillary
you want to
Clinton-
vote for
Wait a
Trump?
minute. If Hillary Clinton gets elected into office and she starts appointing Supreme Court nominees, that's going to affect this nation for 30, 40, 50 years.
Sean,
Because
Can't
we're
you
looking
actually
at
try and
possibly
bribe him and buy his vote.
We're
How much do you
looking
want?
at
I'll give
possibly
you 20 bucks if you vote
Supreme
for Trump.
Court justice changes. Four. That's going to swing
for
things
Trump
big
anyway.
time.
So.
So you may not like him, but if you go by his Supreme Court choices, you're safer off than voting for the other side.
Yeah, I saw that Ruth Bader Ginsburg said something. I saw that Ruth Bader Ginsburg like crashed
She'll
Trump
quit.
3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, she'll quit? Oh.
She said she will quit, or she'll
Yeah,
step
it's not
down.
So if Trump does get in, it's probably a good guess that he will elect a conservative Supreme Court justices, plus 2 of them, because we're losing 2 right now. But if Hillary Clinton gets in, you can bet your ass that she's gonna freaking vote for, or I'm sorry, appoint the most Democratic liberal people on the place of the freaking planet.
It'll be the end of the republic for like 2 decades.
Really does.
Exactly. That's why you have to vote party still. I mean, it's like I said, you might have to hold your nose to do it, but it beats the alternative, because what you do in November can possibly affect generations. Never in history have we had to select possibly 4 Supreme Court justices. Hell, maybe 5 if Ginsburg quits. That is a huge swing.
Yeah, that's true. I want to be thinking about this stuff.
That's why you may not like the guy, but you know what? His policies are not all his own. You have to remember, every time this comes up, you hear a president say what they're going to do and how they're going to do the first 100 days. And the first word you should say after you hear that is bullshit. Because you know damn well that a president can almost never do exactly what he says because he has to get through Congress. They still have to approve of whatever he wants to do.
Well, I mean, he could undo, all of Obama's executive orders.
He would be doing the nation a favor.
Yeah, he would. I know he did say that. He wasn't going to do that.
And like I mean, dude, I'm such a Trump supporter. Like, the second that guy came out and said, like, I want to strengthen the borders, I want to, uphold the Second Amendment, I want to, like, I want to bring jobs back. Like, who can sit there and be like, you know what, that sucks. That guy's a piece of shit. Like, I don't understand, like, why people, like,
Yeah, I don't want fair trade. Who's going to say that?
I don't want anybody respecting the Second Amendment. I don't want a secure country.
Actually, Brandon, I could tell you exactly who would say that. I know for sure who would say that. All those people who were riding Bernie's cock. All those people who were waiting for free shit. Because those are the same kinds of people who don't ask who's paying for all this free shit you're promising. So yeah,
Exactly.
they would say that.
Those are the people that sit there and listen to some guy saying, like, it's not because of the billionaires anymore. The
That's pretty
people.
good.
I'm like, look, dude, no.
Millionaires and billionaires.
Did you watch him endorse a millionaire, almost billionaire this morning? He sold his fucking soul.
Yeah, he did.
He does
Like,
these
seriously, he
two
was.
old-
Yeah, he sold his soul for a chance to be vice president.
He's an old, who cares about what that guy is so old? He, probably, needs his medication
vice
to get
president,
up
that's
and
gonna
take
be
a
Warren.
piss every night. He's too old to do anything. I don't know why there's this big fan thing around him. I never.
How old is he?
understood it.
74?
Million.
No, I mean he's 74, right?
Yeah, he's 74.
Isn't that how old Newt Gingrich is? You know he's on the very, very, very short list of Trump vice presidents, right?
Yeah, but if Gingrich gets in there, I don't think that he's going to gain enough popularity he needs because, like, yes, Gingrich is like a popular.
Gingrich is someone that the Republicans could use to curb some of Trump.
Yeah, he's 73 years old. He's 4 years
comments.
older than Trump. But the thing is he balanced the budget. He's a great orator. He is very categorical when he explains things, and he doesn't lose his cool on camera, or he knows how to handle the press.
And he's the former Speaker of the House.
He was a great former Speaker of the House.
No, I'm not denying any of that. But here's the thing: you and I pay attention to this. What does Bernie come out and say? Free stuff. Everybody goes nuts.
Yes.
We sit there and talk about the analytics. Not many people go out there and pay attention to this stuff. They just want the person that's going to sit there. Basically, we're dealing with a bunch of stupid zombies. They're voting for somebody.
But, we got to admit free stuff works because
devil in the details. But if you pay attention to somebody like Hillary Clinton, you can sit there and dissect her policies as well as Trump's. But the masses, the people, they don't give a shit about that. They just want somebody who's going to say, "I will." Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I mean, did you see Gladiator? I mean, the emperor throws out free food to the audience, and so hey, give them death and free food, and
so we need to find a
they'll
way
be
to
entertained.
get people to vote. And here's the thing: I think the Bernie people are so pissed off at the betrayal, or basically that Bernie flipped on him and stuff and went to Hillary.
Oh yeah, did you see his endorsement today? There were Bernie supporters behind him on the stage, and I swear they just stepped in dog shit, barefoot. They were just like, what the fuck did you just say? They had that look on his face.
I'm telling you right now that some of them may vote for Hillary, but I think at least half of them are going to vote for Trump or even third party, because the factor is that they don't want to vote for Hillary.
Just to spite Hillary, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the Bernie supporters said if Bernie doesn't get elected, or if he doesn't become the nominee, that they're going to vote for Trump or they're going to do something else. They're not going to vote for Hillary. A lot of them have said that.
But how sure of a bet is that? I mean,
you got to take that with a grain of salt. I know.
A new poll this morning says that 65% of Democratic voters currently today still say that she's untrustworthy. Yet they're going to go vote for her anyway. Half of them will.
Christ.
Meanwhile, Trump, who did not speak on the Comey thing, he did not speak on the Loretta Lynch thing, he has not spoken on indicting Hillary, he seems to be the only one in the last week to not attack Hillary. And you know what's really funny? He gained 4 points nationwide this week.
Yeah.
Maybe he's staying quiet on purpose because he knows he doesn't have to sling mud to gain popularity.
Well, when they're doing
it for her on TV.
When your opponent is drowning, you just don't throw him a rope. So.
Right. You just let them flop around like a marionette with the strings cut off. Let the court of public opinion continue to demonize her. Let the liberal media continue to look like fools. And you just sit back and you just keep planning what you're going to do next week at the convention.
If Trump was smart, he should say something along the lines like saying they would be like, "Oh, why aren't you attacking Hillary?" And he's like, "I think everybody knows pretty clear on what I feel about Hillary. I don't feel that I have to go there and start disrespecting her out in public continuously to prove that obviously I'm the better candidate. She is trying to do that to attack me because she's worried, because she knows that she doesn't have what it takes to run this country. I know what I'm doing. I can run this country. She can't. She just goes in shallow arguments and false demeanors."
Did you guys see what they aren't the items that you can't bring anywhere near the Republican convention? And I guess it's Cincinnati, Ohio. You can't. They have a list of things you can't bring. The first one on the list is you can't bring gas masks. I
That's funny because, Black
It's the
Lives
only-
Matter already said that they were going to open carry there.
Well, I could just what I'm trying to imagine all the 1,000 people protesters showing up with gas masks.
So instead, they'll show up with Guy Fawkes masks.
Oh, I was like, really, gas mask? You can't show up with a gas mask. Okay, I guess they want to be able to drop tear gas on the crowds and have it have some effect, I guess. But that was just funny when they had a list of things that were banned from the a certain perimeter around the convention, like gas masks.
Right. I've still yet to see a group of Trump supporters go and protest at a Hillary gathering. That's still not happened.
They don't need to.
Well, it still hasn't happened.
Yeah.
My dad has a gas mask, but I don't have one yet. I was like, my dad has a gas mask. He's 81 years old. Why does my dad have a gas mask? He just bought one a long time ago.
I've got one of those World War I kinds where you had to pee on it before you put it on.
I have an Israeli one.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw. The Sportsman Guide had like current American gas masks for like 150 or something.
Hey, wait a second. Wait a second. If you pee on your gas mask, how do you have enough urine to kill your Mosin Nagant?
Or athlete's foot.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's French.
What are those things? What they used to pee? If the stinger things, the jellyfish, right? Jellyfish stings. That actually is a cure. That it's a home remedy that people say if you get stung by a jellyfish.
That or tomato sauce.
Just on it. Tomato sauce.
Tomato
You
sauce.
didn't know that? Yeah, tomato sauce. The acids will eat the enzymes and the stingers or whatever.
Huh. All right. Well, you learn something new every day. So, okay, as I said, we were going down the rabbit hole. We got off on a little tangent there, but
It was good.
with the thing about the emails is I was watching Fox News, and I know Fox News, FAUX, right?
Faux news.
Yeah, but no, it's Fox. But they were doing a piece on the whole emails thing with Comey and whatnot, and they did a good tie-in to the fact that they played the clip where Comey refused to speak on any other case other than the Clinton emails case. We refused to talk about the ongoing investigation on the Clinton Foundation. He refused to talk about it in front of the people who were he was.
That can only mean that there's an active investigation going.
There's an active investigation going, and yes, this is a little conspiracy theorist, but the guys on the program were saying that the fact that they prodded him about it and he refused to speak about it means that there may be a tie-in, and the email scandal itself may only be the tip of the proverbial iceberg.
I think
there may be a larger scandal within the Clinton Foundation that will basically topple her entire campain.
I think what we need to do is play Hillary Clinton's stump speech backwards and look for hidden messages.
No, that's you got to play "I Am the Walrus" backwards, and then you hear devil worshipping or something.
Pantera.
Or was it Chicago? I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with Pantera. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, it wasn't Pantera. Pantera's just Pantera, man.
No, I mean, what you're saying is the same thing that
You're breaking up, Sean.
Loretta Lynch did today to talk about Comey's investigation, and the House Oversight Committee kept pressuring her, and all she wanted to talk about was the Dallas shootings, gun control, and Black Lives Matter. So this is just typical, right out of the Democratic playbook of duck, dodge, and wait for the next emotional crisis to distract the American people on TV.
Right out of George
This were Republicans and even one of the judges, and they were commenting on this. This wasn't just the whole the whole hearing. They were strictly just going over the emails case and the fact that there may be an investigation in the Clinton Foundation that may be a giant, huge liability for the Clintons themselves.
Sure. I mean, okay, there's a movie coming out in 3 days in Houston, and then a week later it'll be nationwide. It's from Dinesh D'Souza. It's called Hillary's America. And basically, he's going to do the same thing that the House Oversight Committee is going to do. He's going to lay out a case of, the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, the fact that she's taking tens of millions of dollars from nations that practice Sharia law, even though she claims to be the champion of gay rights and women, and she continues to take millions of dollars from these countries that kill gay people and beat their women. So
I used to work in the film industry, and I used to think 99% of the people in the film industry were whores, but politicians is like 100%.
Well, as I've always said, the world's second oldest the profession is much like the first.
Yeah, Roman senator.
The role of the politician is much like the role of the prostitute in many ways.
Hookers are more honest than politicians.
Yep. You know what you get with whenever you talk to them.
You talk to them? You actually talk to them?
All right.
I don't know. I haven't used a hooker, so.
I haven't either. I'm just making a correlation between two old professions, but
let me call my boss.
What is he, a Russian?
No, he's used hookers.
Oh,
what do you want to know about hookers that you don't already know?
No, we're not doing this.
How are they like
Not
on the
right
Big
now.
Island?
What? Well, there's more of them in a metropolitan city than there are in a small-ass town like this.
That is where you're going.
Well, the whores that are here are it's harder to run
When did
like
you turn
be a
into
pimp.
Flippy?
It's harder to be a pimp on a small island like this where there's a police force
Flippy
that will
could
actually
be.
track you down, as opposed to like in metropolitan city where they just give up. So.
Okay. Enough about the whores and all that. We're not whoring ourselves out, okay?
No, that's the fun part.
No, that's all. We only do that
Are
to
you
the
monetizing
manufacturers.
this video?
I am monetizing this video. I don't want to talk
We are
about
whoring
that.
ourselves
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, we're available on weekends and holidays.
Yeah, yes, and if anybody wants to sponsor us and have us
And
talk
for
about,
children's parties.
have us talk about their products and whatnot, we will totally talk about them. But
In between. Okay, go ahead.
in between whatever this is, but yeah, I just want to throw this out there. If you've got any questions you want us to go over, please. If it's about guns, if it's about politics, if it's just a question in general about one of the panelists, please send us a question. I haven't gotten any questions yet. I was kind of hoping for some. You can send them to nightstrike1@gmail.com. You can see it right here on the screen. If you need me to spell it out for you, it's NIGHTSTRYKE1@gmail.com. Okay, so if we get any questions, great. If we don't, we're going to have to come up with something.
Get Matt to send us some questions.
I've
got extra. I know he has extra questions.
So, Nice Rick,
what's up?
my friend just moved out here from California to Arizona, and so we went to the DMV, which is our department, or actually MVD, our motor vehicle department, and he was getting his picture taken to get his license, because here it takes like 5 minutes to get your license. And so he's taking a picture, and then he's filling out all the stuff, and this person came up like, "Oh, you're just getting licensed." He's like, No, I moved from California. And they're like, "Oh, why'd you do that?" And he's like, "Well, I'm a gun owner." And this person was like, "Oh, me too." He's like, "And I have like 10 more of my friends moving out of California as we speak to Arizona." And then he's all like, we all belong to cow guns and everything. And he's like, and they were getting mad at us for leaving. And I said, yeah, there's a lot of that going around. People are like, "Oh, you're, abandoning the fight." What is your opinion, and I'm asking the whole panel here, on people wanting to live free in another state?
Oh, we talked about this before.
We talked about this before, but it comes down to the fact whether you want to stay and fight or whether you want to just go somewhere else where you can enjoy the freedom that everybody else enjoys without having to have to worry about fighting for the rest of your life just to get maybe one of those rights back.
It's a free country. You're free to move about the country.
Wait, question, Loretta. He wants to know our opinions on it.
My opinion, great. I'm glad you left.
Cool. Yeah, he
All right.
was.
All right,
I
Brandon.
mean,
I'll take the road less
it's a great
traveled
country.
here. I'll take the road less traveled here. I'll give you the answer that you're looking for. It sort of falls in line with what G said a couple of weeks back. Every person individually has the right to their own freedom and their happiness. So if you feel oppressed by your government in your area, in your state, your city, or whatever, it's your right, if you have the financial means to do so, to get up, pack up, and leave. That's for your own individual happiness. However, when it comes to the needs of the people as a whole, if everyone goes and seeks their happiness, they forfeit the state. And then when that state has its way, then it bleeds over to the next state, and the next state, and the next state. And how many times are you going to get away from it for your own personal happiness when the rest of the nation is going to lose theirs by and large because they might not have the financial means to get up and leave? So there's a quandary here. There's a dichotomy here. Your personal freedom is your personal freedom. It's your right to happiness. However, it hurts the fight in the long term because if there's no one left to fight in heavy state of California, and then California goes completely blue, completely anti and everything where there's no chance in hell to win, then they come over to Arizona and they start pushing their ideologies there. And then they go to Utah and they go to Nevada and they start working their way to Texas. And eventually it becomes a movement. And when it's a movement that's got momentum, it's a lot harder to stop.
So what you do is you set up a thing at the border between California and Arizona, and when people come over, you stop them and ask them, are you a Republican or a Democrat? And I say Democrat, then you stick their head in a bucket of water till they drown.
Yeah.
No, you just ask for their voter ID card.
Well, right.
My asshole.
Well, the joke we had
Scientifically
weeks
speaking-
back when we discussed this is if Heavy wants to leave California, Arizona and Texas would be glad to have him. And if everybody in California who's a gun owner wants to leave, we'd be glad to have you in our states. But just remember that when you're the last one of your kind of law-abiding gun owners that leave the state of California, you better be the one that built the wall to keep Californians from bleeding over and ruining the rest of the country.
Right. Though I said this on HVS's chat last night, but if things get worse and worse comes to worse and we all have to move to Texas, we're going to have to do a Texit instead of a Brexit.
No, we're going to create by the time, if that ever happens,
The Republic of Texas.
me and Mike Rowe should have enough, political power, so we're going to create the United Free States of Talo. We're going to go ahead and take out Arkansas and Louisiana and Oklahoma too, and any surrounding states that want to be interested, we'll go ahead and annex you slowly too. So we figure we're going to take over pretty much everything in the Midwest all the way up to Washington, and then we'll take like the Trans-America Highway up to Alaska, and we'll take Alaska, and we'll just build a gigantic wall around California.
But I'm all for Texit, okay? That's Texas exiting the United States.
Well, yeah, because we're the only state that can
send some
legally leave.
ELF frequencies.
Though I think
Transmit them.
Arizona and New Mexico can because they weren't states.
What you
until
do is you
after the
take
Civil War.
Nevada and you take Arizona, and then you just set up to transmit some extreme low frequencies into the ground, into California, so it just said there's gigantic earthquake.
Shake it loose.
Falls off.
Wow.
Everybody talks about Texas like it's this big, super pro-gun state.
It's not.
It's not. It's not as
Arizona's
free as you think.
freer than
Arizona's much
than-
freer.
Arizona's the #1 state for gun owners, in the last for 4 years in a row.
I think Vermont is actually the freest gun state in the United States because they have no gun laws.
No, I think Alaska is.
I'll show you guys. That's because we actually were just talking about this the other day. And Guns and Ammo did a thing on it. But no, okay. So going back to basically what I said about that. Everybody called me a coward. Everybody said I was running, and one of my buddies who works for Cow Guns, he's like, I can't believe you're being a pussy. I can't believe you're running. He's like, there's people here that are fighting, for your right to keep. I'm like, for my right to keep what? I can't own anything. Ooh, I can keep a 10-round mag with a pin in it. That's great. And it's like,
Can't even do that.
I'm 33 right now. I don't want to spend the next 30, years of my life freaking living in this hellhole and paying to do it. That's like paying somebody to kick your ass, And then, so when my friend moved out here, I'm like, dude, good for you. And I said, here's the thing. California is so blue. They have like 2 Republicans in the Senate right now in California. And the laws there are so bad that if it were to be reversed, you might see a small change like, okay, well, we'll go back and redo that thing. So now that you have a magazine that's capable of holding more than 10 rounds, you can have that, but it has to be locked up at the gun shop or something like that. They will just do some stupid stuff, dude.
That sounds kind of Australian.
California is not going to get better. It's just only going to get worse, especially with this new stuff that came out. And, you know, it sucks because California was once a very nice place to live, but it's just there's so many, you know, it's so far left.
They're very beautiful parts of the state, but yeah, the legislature is not one of them. So.
And you know yeah, California is beautiful, but here's the thing: beauty's nothing without freedom.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like it's all a facade. You know,
which brings us back to hookers.
No.
So, yeah, so that's how we.
Wait, there's hookers out there.
No, that's how we bend their nose out of joint. See, once you know this movement happens, we just send all the Texas frackers to the border, and we just drill, baby, drill until the state breaks free.
And here's the thing, dude,
drill,
like,
baby, drill.
If Hillary Clinton gets elected, I don't see Texas doing that. They've tried to do that 100 times before. Like Texas, with the metropolitan cities, they're getting more and more left too. And that's and this is my whole thing here. People like shit on other people for leaving, you know, liberal states. That's why you move to a state that is already pro-gun and you populate it with more pro-gun people. Because rest assured, anti-gunners are moving to Arizona and Texas too, because they can't afford to live in a hellhole like California.
Yep, that's true.
Quick
We need
question.
to populate it more and more with pro-gunners and reinforce it. You know, strategically plan out your battles. You know, and
You're saying regroup in stronger numbers in other states. But see, like, that's what I was saying is there's that dichotomy of your personal happiness versus the overall fight. And the thing is it's going to get, well, this is hyperbole. This is going to be an extreme case, but what if everybody got, you know, they had to retreat to Vermont? You know, see what I'm saying? It's a tiny state, and everyone eventually gets driven out because Vermont's the only one that's left that's, you know, pro-gun everything. Then you have one, you know, iota of ground to work with, and you have to fight your way back out. So rather than do that, you just have, if you can't have the means to leave, do as much as you can to fight the fight. And I think that's the quandary that people have is, I can leave, but then I can't be as effective in the fight because I left the state that I was fighting for. That's why you got shit on by your friends before, because they saw you as a traitor, but they didn't see your individual happiness above the movement, I guess. And you know, there's going to be that. There's going to be two sides to this: your individual freedom or the fight. And some people say that there is no in between, but there is, like you're saying, is you went to Arizona and you're still fighting the fight for other states. You can do that, but you can't do it on a state level when it comes to voting for bills and initiatives in that state anymore.
yeah, because I can't tell you how much money I poured into like gun groups in California, and like I woke up every single day. Everybody in the panel, this is like I'm addressing everyone. I woke up every single day not knowing that if what I owned in my closet was going to be something that they could confiscate the next day. I woke up every single day knowing that I was paying more and more and more in taxes, more and more in rent, more and more in gas, more and more in like property, just to make a state that really wants to bend me over and screw me stronger.
Hey,
So
I woke up in the hospital finding out that...
Hold on. So I want to do everything that I can to cut that state off at the knees. I want to make sure that California is never able to reach any of the shores of our freedom out here, because the more that state struggles, the more that state cripples is a better thing for the United States. Because if California can just wither and die, then trust me, Arizona, Texas, Utah, Nevada will be fine. Because they're going to have such a hard time keeping up with their own bullcrap of keeping like jobs, of keeping housing, of keeping their infrastructure. They're not going to have time to worry about spending money on pro-guns or anti-gun stuff. The APPS program money is going to be freaking that $24 million that was saved up. Kamala Harris is not going to be hiring any Gestapo to kick down doors. they're going to be putting that money towards fixing the water line that just broke in Hollywood or something like that.
They'll have to repeal all those laws because they can't pay for it.
Save the snail darter.
Bullshit.
Brandon, that
They'll
unfortunately.
ask the federal government for more money.
Exactly.
Look,
I was about to say that is a fairy tale because as soon as the state gets bankrupt, the taxpayers in every other state will bail them out, and those elected leaders in California get to stay in power, and their agendas get to stay in power, and they get a free government bailout. That's why that won't work.
Well,
You
I
have
woke
to
up
vote the
and-
blue out first.
You're not seen for the long run, though. That's depending on who we have in office. Yes, if
You
we
have to vote the blue out.
You can't vote the blue out. I
Yeah,
mean, I woke up in a hospital and to wake up and then read the paper and to find out that they passed a law that says they could seize your gun for being in a hospital. So, I mean, literally.
It's a hell of a wake-up call.
Yeah. Throw that and a quadruple bypass into it, and it was a hell of a wake-up call. It was painful in more ways than one. But you can't vote just the blue out if everybody in the fucking state is a fucking blue idiot.
Yeah, and here's
Because
the
all
thing.
the red ones are leaving.
It's like the blue meanies in the yellow submarine. They're fucking everywhere.
And then here's the thing. So you take everybody that's pro-gun, right? Instead of them wasting money and basically, if you donate to a gun, here's the thing. Any sort of, and this is going to sound terrible, and you guys are going to hate me, but if you spend money on any sort of pro-gun rights groups in California, you might as well throw your gun in you might as well throw your money in a wood chipper, because all that is doing is just slowing down the process. They're like, oh, well, we can't ban single-shot exemption in 2012. Fuck it, we're going to go to 2014 and do it.
That would make a great political imagery for a commercial. Somebody just throwing
bags of money in a wood chipper would be hilarious in a commercial.
But like, thing. So you move to Arizona, right? You move to a state that's already pro-gun, and then you spend that money on Firearms Policy Coalition or whatever.
Brandon, but the thing is if you leave the state of California, you can no longer be part of the voting process to shoot down bills in the state of California or get people elected out of office in the state of California. Now you can only do that in your new state.
But
see, the thing is all you're doing is you're I'm not agreeing one side or the other. Don't misinterpret
it's really
this.
not. But if
all
you
you're doing is you're taking the dilution of political bias out, and you're strengthening the blue by having all the reds leave. That's the argument that's being
if
seen
he
there.
wanted to, he could put help. If even from Arizona, he could work to put a California ballot initiative, a pro Second Amendment California ballot initiative, on the ballot.
Who would be left to vote on it if they all left?
Everybody is leaving.
California is going to be blue. There's no stopping it. It will always be blue, no matter how many people. Because here's the thing: everybody thinks that all of California is Democratic. It's not. Right. Only the coastal towns are Democratic, and the entire flex of inland is all conservative.
Right.
Every inland is all conservative.
See, and that's the thing. You just said California will always be blue, but you just said the opposite when you knew that Texas's biggest metropolitan areas are blue. It's not. This state is not always going to be red. We're watching it slip right up from underneath us.
Right, but see that's the difference between this country is going more progressive. The more I guarantee you, 2 more generations in front of us, they're going to be hardcore progressive. You're going to have asexual, pansexual, skinny jean wearing, finding the fucking Pokemon in the middle of the street. So I mean,
it's happening right now.
It's already now.
Well, I mean, there's no stopping that. So that's just going to have to happen. What people are going to have to do is they're going to have to band together and regroup and figure out, okay, which one of these states on this map is red right now, and how do we keep it red? Let's not just send a bunch of reds into California, we're searching for the Churchill, and trying to get it. I know what you guys are saying. I do. I understand it. But if we are going to keep certain states red, and I may not agree with everything the conservatives believe in, and quite frankly, I don't. But I know one thing: a red state will reinforce your gun rights. So I'd rather live in a red state and be able to have my freedoms than live in a state that's socially liberal and no freedoms. So, I think what pisses people off, and this is what I've heard from a lot of Californians, is they said, they feel kind of how I feel. They're like, I like the fact that conservatives are pro-gun, But one thing that I could never get behind is like they're always trying to tell me what to do. Like, you know, women are like they're trying to tell me what to do with my body, trying to tell me what to believe, and that's a whole other ball of wax. But I think that like if you guys are always pointing out, you know, yes, we need a third party and stuff like that, but in the meantime, we have to balance out everything. You know, I feel that there's all this stuff going on with guns and religion and, you know, birthrights and all this stuff and refugees that we're like all over the place and we're spreading our battles too thin. We should just work on one issue at a time. So if it's guns that we want, then it's guns that we should be focusing on and how to keep our stakes red so we can keep them, so we can keep the Second Amendment alive.
If anybody from California gives you any shit, just shove some alfalfa sprouts and yogurt down their throat.
So you're basically saying just buy them lunch.
Yeah, buy them lunch and then eat a big steak right in front of them.
And, you know, like, and I really feel, you know, I feel for people that that live in California, man. Like, you know, because one of my buddies said, like, my buddy that just moved here, he said, I don't want to raise my family in California. I want my son to know what it's like to be able to go to the shooting range. I want him to join the Boy Scouts. You know, I want him to have his freedoms. He's like, and I don't want to raise my family in this state. I don't, you know, he's like, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. You know, it's nice that, and like, I was just taking around.
Tough.
You know,
California is a very expensive state to live in. It's high cost of living. I moved to Hawaii. It's even worse. But California ain't easy. I mean, when I was living in Malibu, after I paid the rent on the studio, the rent on the place on the beach in Malibu, and I went to go shopping, I'd hardly have, a lot of times I'd have like $40 left over to go shopping at the supermarket.
So I don't want to take up any more of the chat, guys, and I'm sorry for getting on the rant. But
no, that's fine. It's good because I literally didn't know what I was going to say after this. All right. Anyways,
and that's different than normal.
Yeah, no shit, right? All right. I want to jump in here real quick and mention something because we were talking about donating to groups and whatnot, and yeah, you can donate to, you know, the Firearms Policy Coalition or.
I still think we should do a Kickstarter for the Glock library that apparently Obama thinks is easier to get Glocks than books.
Hey,
but he said on the
it's the Glock grocery store.
The Glock grocery store, the Glocksery store.
All right. I wanted to plug this.
It's the Glock Co.
The Rock Island Auction Company right now is doing a donation drive for the NRA ILA.
A dollar matching program.
Oh, the Freedom Initiative or something like that?
The Freedom Challenge is what they're calling it.
Freedom Challenge, that's what it is.
Yeah. So basically, if you donate any money through their, what is it? It's riafreedomchallenge.com. I will send links out there. But if you go and donate, you know, $5, $10, $25 to the ILA NRA portion, they will match it dollar for dollar. And
Up
I think
to $1 million.
Up to $1 million. So if you can throw a couple dollars towards the ILA, I would say please do so because they do more than the regular NRA does. Okay.
Well, you also have to think it's the owner of Rock Island, so he's pulling it out of his own pocket. Rock Island isn't doing it.
Yeah, the Rock Island Auction.
He's the owner of it, right?
Well, he's the owner of Rock Island Auctions, so I'm sure he can figure out a way to put it off on his taxes via the business. But
I don't know if he will.
You know, he may, but
I don't think you can. You can't. I don't think they'll allow that as a charitable deduction.
If you look at closing sales of their auctions,
they have
their auction fees. Trust me, he makes plenty of money to do this.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, if you can, I'm going to shoot the links here in the side chat, and I'm going to shoot them in the Gun Channels chat so that you guys can take a look at it. But I've already donated like $10 to the whole thing because that's all I could afford to donate right now. But if you guys want to, please consider doing so. But you know, I just wanted to jump in.
Make a difference.
You know, because the ILA does actually help a lot more than the normal NRA does because they help a lot more with the legislative process. So
that's why it was created. The ILA was created.
Yeah. The one thing they did do as of lately is I'm unhappy that they did it, but they pushed the reciprocity for Georgia here in South Carolina and got it on the books and everything. But they completely ignored the permitless carry / open carry bill that was on the floor during the same day, and they were only going for the Georgia reciprocity. And I know you have to pick and choose your battles, but I believe that they did a disservice to the people of South Carolina by choosing to pick the battle for Georgia reciprocity instead of for South Carolina open carry.
I want to say something about this deep blue state that I live in. It's the legislature has so fucked up the state of Hawaii. It has so many unfunded liabilities. It can't afford to pay its government employee pensions. It is so broke. The entire state might just collapse. If Puerto Rico goes, Hawaii is going to be next. And so, that I can hope for the state to collapse, and then we could just start all over.
So, what would Hawaii exiting be called? Would Hexit?
Quick question.
Okay, question first.
What's your guys' thought about what Tennessee did this past week?
Let's call it Aloha.
What did Tennessee do? Regale us.
If you have like company policy, or you put a no firearms and you make it a gun-free zone, that establishment is liable for any criminals or anything coming in and committing gun crimes and would harm you.
I think it's a good law. Because you need to hold people accountable, and holding just the people who go and commit these crimes and then decide to kill themselves, you can't always hold them accountable for their actions because they're dead. How do you hold someone like that accountable? You can't, because they're gone.
You sue his family.
But you're never going to get anything out of that.
In money, no, but in Israel you take their money, the family, and you raise their house to the ground.
Yeah, but here in the United States, we're different because we're American. Okay, so we can't do that here. But the factor is, if it's a place of business, or hell, even if it's the government that's doing that, they need to be held accountable for situations like those happening. So I think it's a good law. Every state should have that law, in my opinion. But the fact is, it's only happening in Tennessee.
Yeah. And Tennessee also has a law that you can keep it in a firearm in your vehicle, even if it is against your company policy, and they cannot fire you for it.
Yeah, well, in South Carolina, you can keep a gun in your car at all times, no matter where you go. But if there's a sign saying that no guns on the property, you can't take it out of your car because technically your car is considered your property.
Correct. In Arkansas, that is the case. Illegally, you could do it, but you can. Where I work, I can get fired if I have my concealed carry inside my car on company property. And in Tennessee, it trumps company policy.
In Hawaii, it's so screwed up. If you go to register your gun at the police station and you drive straight back home, except you stop at a McDonald's, you've just committed a crime.
Why are you still living and complaining about Hawaii? Why don't you go move to Florida? It's nicer there.
Why don't you stop telling me where to live?
Well, you always go on and on about how bad Hawaii is.
Well, you want people to fight for their stuff, and so first thing I have to do is complain about it so people will know how.
Why aren't you running for governor?
The laws are.
Why aren't you running for state senator? Why aren't you doing something?
I'm not a whore.
Well,
why aren't you doing something to prevent this and fight for it? Why aren't you starting an advocacy group or something?
I thought I was in one, but I guess I'm just here with a bunch of whores for Google money.
for the Google money. That's it.
Hey, if I get paid and it buys me another box of ammunition, fuck right.
All right, I think we'll
whore yourself up for ammo.
Dude,
I think we've come full circle on this. We didn't really get any questions other than from Nathan, and Nathan, I'm not going to read that question on air. But
how do you know it was from me?
I know it was from you.
I used a different email though.
I know both of your emails. Remember?
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the question? Yeah.
But
Here.
Wait, what was the question?
You don't want to know. It's bad. It's one I'm not going to say on my show. It was that bad. It was teddy bear joke level.
No, it wasn't that bad. It was just about male fellatio. Would he, if he did male fellatio, would he want an AK or an AR for it? It's a trick question.
I wouldn't want either. I wouldn't want to do that in the first place.
Do it for free. Okay.
No. Anyways, all right, guys, you're gonna pack it up. I'm gonna let you guys plug something if you want to. So, Brandon, you're first.
I actually don't have anything to plug, man, other than California, while you still can run.
How about you? Wait, you're in Arizona. Plug Freedom.
Oh, okay. So yeah, come on out to Arizona. We'd love to have you. It's a great state. Everybody here loves guns, and if they don't, they can get the hell out. But
No state income tax either, right?
Hey, I had a question. Would your SPA's shotgun be legal in California? Because I don't know.
it's actually banned by name in 1989 by Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, fuck. I was going to try and get... I was thinking about getting my dad one for his birthday, but I guess not.
If they renamed it as, like, Laws 12, then, yeah, it'd be legal. But
I could get him a Laws rocket, maybe.
All right. Foos, you got anything you want to plug?
We're plugging people now? What's your name?
He's trying to force us all into being whores.
Oh, God damn it, Foos.
I don't force anyone. They do it willingly.
We'll
don't
have
force
sex
anyone.
around.
All right, Mr. Cosby.
Just take this pill.
No means no, Bill Cosby.
Well, I asked them a question, and they didn't say no.
So Nathan, what's new at sheepdogleather.com?
I would like to plug Bill Cosby's Jello shot.
Why is he doing this in the voice of Charles Barkley? What a knucklehead.
No, sheepdog leather. Right now, I'm making some new holster designs and gonna put them up on the website. Some cool new stuff. Gonna in the next month do
Have
a.
you got the whole shoulder holster done yet?
Haven't started it yet. I've still got 2 more orders to finish, and then I get to start on it.
All right, awesome. So if anyone needs a holster, or if they have a custom job that they want to look at getting done or getting a quote on, go to sheepdogleather.com and email Nathan or call him. You know, he accepts phone calls too, and talk to him. You can get something done. He does great work. We've got photos up on his website about it, so it's good. Sean, you got anything you want to plug?
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right. Hawaii Volcano Squad, you got anything you want to plug?
I do my Monday show after Matt's show for Lock and Load. Last week was Lock and Load Hell on Texas, last night. And so I have no idea what next Monday's chat will be about, but I'm sure something will come up. And I'm doing a Behind Enemy Lines tour, flying over to California. If anybody around Thousand Oaks in California or Newbury Park wants to go shooting, let me know. Because I'm planning on hitting some ranges around there with whatever guns
you're allowed to use.
Yeah, whatever guns are left in the state of California, we'll be shooting them.
I was about to say beg, borrow, or steal, but yeah. No.
All right, so I'm gonna plug a couple things now before I go and.
Hopefully, my dad's a Winchester, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug a couple things. So. I am on Patreon now, so if anybody wants to check out the Patreon page, it's not even done yet, but it's up there if you want to go take a look at it. It's in the description of the video here. I also have a Facebook page. There's the Hit or Miss Gun Channels page. I'm also on Instagram. Then there's the Gun Channels community itself, gunchannels.com. If you're not a member, go there and sign up. It's free. It's like the Facebook for guns and more. It really is.
It's like the Glock library for guns.
No, it is the gun library.
It's where all of us met.
Yes, it is.
It's like a gigantic whorehouse for guns.
There's 2 more things I want to plug. So there's also the AK-47 Buyer's Guide. So that's AK47buyersguide.com. If you are looking at buying an AK and in the political climate right now, you really should, because you might not be able to own them much longer, other than, maybe getting one that's been grandfathered, but they might take their grandfather away. So look at that. Go to AK47buyersguide.com and find out all the important information on which kind of AK to get, depending on what you want.
Yeah, because if you have a grandfather and he owns a K, he will be taken away after Hillary is elected.
It's true. It's true. Now, the last thing I'm going to plug is Every Second Matters. EverySecondMatters.com. Basically, it's where you can find information on all the gun advocacy groups here in the United States that are pro-gun. G-Web's made this so that everyone could get together and kind of, talk to each other and whatnot. And I'm really expecting good things to come out of it. But everybody needs to sign up, and if you're part of one of those groups and you haven't heard about this yet, go to everysecondmatters.com and sign up and let them know there that you're part of this group and you want to represent your group. All right?
And let freedom rule this country.
Let freedom rule this country, not oppression, not tyranny, because then we're back to square one.
And not Hillary.
And last but not least, I'm plugging Hit or Miss. Check us out next week at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. I have no idea what that's Pacific or Hawaii time, so you guys translate that.
Well, right now it is 4:46 p.m. in Hawaii, and we have Hurricane Celia headed in this general direction. So hey,
don't you have a hurricane headed in your general direction?
Well, global warming, it's been like a very busy record-setting hurricane season in Hawaii waters.
All right. So on that note, guys, thank you for the great chat, and I hope we'll see everyone that attended this chat tonight next week, and I hope that all of our viewers will come back next week and listen to the next one. So thank you for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Let free